Welcome to the Manufacturing Win Show. I'm your host, Andrew Shedden, and I'm delighted to have Vovik, the head of inbound sales at Woodpecker.co. Woodpecker is a unique software that can be used for cold emailing. And in this episode, we're going to discuss how you can improve the effectiveness of your lead generation by using cold emails. So, Vovik, welcome to the show.
Hi, Andrew. Thank you so much again for inviting. It's a great pleasure to be here.
Excellent. So, if it's all right with you, why don't we dive in with the questions? Okay,
Sure.
Excellent.
Let's do
So
it.
the first question I'd like to ask you is a question I'm sure you've never been asked, and that is cold emailing really just spamming?
I have a question. What do you think, Andrew? Okay, I'm just kidding. Yes, that's quite common question, to tell the truth. But people who do cold emailing on daily, monthly basis, and if the cold emailing is part of the business strategy, they know the answer very well, and they know and they feel the difference between cold emails and spam emails. So by definition, spam emails, that's unsolicited emails, right? But it's not a good definition, yeah, because of course you can subscribe to a newsletter and you expecting a message or email from this company, let's say, but all the other emails are unsolicited, yeah. So even if you have a chat with your colleague and somebody is reaching out to you, right? So it's also unsolicited, yeah. Maybe you might not expect some messages. So for me, it's not a good definition, but spam emails are tough and very brutal advertising emails. When it comes to cold emails, these are personal, targeted, personalized emails to start a B2B dialogue, to start a conversation. Yeah. So it's not about selling; it's about starting relevant business relationships, and that's the point.
So, what are the most common misconceptions or myths about cold emailing?
Some people think that cold emailing is too aggressive, and like companies should avoid sending cold emails, and that's really not true. We have some companies on a SaaS market specifically, where people believe in inbound marketing, in content marketing, that you should produce content to get leads. Yes, it's true, but if called emailing something that may work for your business, why don't you send cold emails? Why don't you invest in this strategy? So what we really believe in Woodpecker is that if it works for you, if inbound marketing, content marketing works for you, sell advertising, and also cold emails, do it. Do it, and we call it all bound, because we have outbound, inbound strategies. But if you get it together, you get all bound, and you can get tremendous results using both channels and both ways of generating new business.
Right. And I think as well, and correct me if I'm wrong, of course, but one of the major advantages to using outbound, specifically cold emails, is that it is very, very measurable. Your results are very measurable. And I think the other thing is it's very fast. You can have your answers, in an hour, a day. I mean, very, very little time. And one of the
Exactly.
complaints I hear an awful lot is that inbound marketing and content marketing is great, and it is. I'm not suggesting it is not, but it
takes
can
time,
be very time consuming to do something like this, and it can be very difficult to measure. Would you agree with that?
For sure. It can take a really long time to measure it, to see if you're doing well or not. Cold emailing is something you get really fast feedback. You can really adapt. You can change your strategy. You can change a segment you are reaching to. And of course, you can start it right away. Why don't you do that?
Very good. That's
Yeah.
very, very true. What would you say are the differences between cold emailing and sending out email blasts, using, I don't know, it could be like automation
Yeah.
software or something like that?
Yeah. So basically we have on one side we have cold emails that are personal, that are one-to-one, right? Of course, they can be automated as well. On the other hand, we have, it's called email marketing automation. So we're talking about newsletters. We're talking about different kinds of maybe transactional emails that are being sent in millions often. Yeah, companies like, I don't know, H&M, Zara, for example, clothes companies, they send a lot of newsletters, and for these purposes, they use email marketing tools. So the core difference is that when you have cold emails, yeah, and you're trying to reach out, your prospects, yeah, your contacts shouldn't be opted into your list. It's not necessary. I mean, you can reach out completely cold, and you will be able to deliver those messages to the main inboxes. Yeah, if it's a B2B communication, it's completely legal to do to send cold emails. But when it comes to newsletters, email marketing automation, so first difference that in this case, those people, those contacts should be subscribed, should be opted in. If you're trying to reach out completely cold to these people using email marketing automation, in this case, you will be banned and your provider will block you. And that, to tell the truth, there are a lot of differences. That's the first difference. Of course, for these purposes, you use also different tool set. For email marketing tools, we have softwares like MailChimp, GetResponse, and so on. For sales, for cold emails, we have sales automation tools, for example, like Woodpecker. Yeah. So to tell the truth, the difference are even more deeper, but it will take time to discuss it.
Vovik, what are some best practices in creating or generating lists for, to use for cold emailing?
Okay, so the best way to generate lists is to do it by yourself. Okay. And because people often rely on some, some databases they find in the internet. And I don't want to tell that those like databases are completely bad. Some of them are good, and maybe for your business, specifically for your business, you will be able to find like good databases and purchase lists and so on. But of course, the best way and very sophisticated way, I would call it, is to have a process of sales perspective in your organization. What do I mean by that? Is to define targets, to define markets, segments of your potential buyers, prospects, yeah, and to use tools, for example, like Get Prospect. That's quite a good tool to find emails and contacts of those people for your specific segment, and then to put it into tools like Woodpecker to use the data you also extract, names, titles, company names, and try to personalize your outreach. That's the way I would go.
So, Vovik, which works better? Fancy emails with lots of graphics, beautifully designed, or an email that looks more like a plain text email?
Mm-hmm. Okay, so I would say that's also a difference between newsletters and cold emails, because when you send newsletters, you want it to be fancy. You want them to look very cool, colorful, and so on. When it comes to cold emails, that's by definition, these are plain text emails. Yeah. Why plain text? Of course, you will be able to use some, let's say, if you want to add a GIF file, maybe some images, you will be able to do this technically. But cold emails are about deliverability. If you don't deliver those emails to the main inboxes, it really makes no sense, right? So, if it's important for you, you should avoid HTML coding, too much HTML coding in your emails. So that's why you should avoid fancy emails and trying to go plain, trying to go more personal. And also that's a business communication, right? So like you're reaching out to VP of sales, to marketing directors, to CEOs. You shouldn't use too many. I think so. Maybe the different like industries, but I think that's the proper way to start a business conversations.
Right. And I suppose the other thing is, if you were sending me a business email, or if I were sending you a business email, it would probably look very much like plain text.
Yeah, for sure. And it would be short, because I love short emails. Right. Yeah, short but very targeted and relevant. That's the most important.
How important is personalization in cold emails? And what should you personalize?
Oh, okay. So I've already mentioned it several times during our talk, but yeah, personalization is definitely plays a big role in this, because like it builds your credibility. It tells your prospect that you have done your homework and you just not trying to sell something unrelevant. Yeah. So using personalization, like people see that you're personal. People see that you actually know my name, you know my title, you know my company name, you know, for example, that we've got funded this year, and so on, so on. So yeah, that's definitely important, and of course it's logical. But maybe the question would be how deep should you go into personalization? Yeah, I would say that using basic personalization, like first names, company names, and titles, that's a standard. You should go with it. But if you're really trying to sell something, enterprise products or really big deals and so on, or start conversation that are leading to selling this, you may also use some facts about those companies. For example, I've checked, I don't know, your website, or congrats on being awarded, and so on, so on. Stuff like that is also cool. It also shows that you've done your homework, and people will be much likely to respond and to start this conversation.
Right. And I suppose if there's, a good level of personalization in the emails when you're sending them out, that would probably help to improve deliverability as well.
Definitely, that's a great point, Andrew. To tell the truth, especially in your subject line. Let's say sometimes people send hundreds of emails during the day, yeah, and if you send a lot of emails with the same content, of course, spam filters might treat you as a spammer. Maybe they will see some patterns that are quite suspicious. So that's definitely a great point, but the same for the content. And to tell the truth, what we are observing nowadays, that spam filters are more focused on the content. They're not focused so much on, for example, on the how many emails you send, though it's also important. But for example, Google limits and Google spam filters are very, they check the content. If they see spam words, if they see that it repeats all the time, the same patterns, they block you.
My next question for you, Vovik, is this. What are best practices, or what would you recommend in terms of the call to action or the offer that you have in a cold email?
Mm-hmm. All right. So it really depends. I like starting conversation with questions. Yeah, I use questions a lot, and of course, call to action should appear in your email. That's 100%. And the best call to action, that's a great question, great relevant question. And sometimes, I also responsible for video production at Woodpecker, and we have a vlog on the YouTube channel. And in one of my videos, I was talking about sending a follow-up email in 1 hour and asking a question. That's actually what I really want to share you. It really worked well for me because I had a situation when I was in touch with a great potential client, and I sent them an email with no clear call to action. But I thought maybe I should ask a question, or also I made them a compliment regarding their business, their marketing, and I sent them follow up in 1 hour. Saying that, wow, you have great marketing. And also I asked a question and they responded immediately. So I believe that why they responded is because I've sent a second email. So it was a proof that I'm really interested in starting conversation. And also I'm not a robot. Yeah. But also I've asked them a question. And yeah, so that's my recipe. But again, that's what worked for me. I don't know what will work for you. You should experiment. And that's what we're talking about at the beginning of this conversation, that cold emailing is something you can experiment with and trying to figure out the best ways for your specific business.
How many days should you wait between sending cold emails? In other words, is there a cadence you recommend? And I know this may be kind of like asking how long a piece of string is, but should you be waiting a day, a couple of days, 3 days? I mean, I know you said that you actually sent one an hour later, but I'm sure that's a little bit of an exception.
Yeah.
What normally works the best in terms of a cadence?
Yeah. Okay. So maybe let's start from the number of follow-ups you should add to your campaigns. Once I heard from one influencer, business influencer and sales influencers, that you should follow up until you die, until you get the response or die. So that I really don't believe in this kind of approach, because you shouldn't irritate people. You should respect them as well. If they don't want to respond, okay, that's they're right, yeah. But give yourself a chance, follow up them anyway. But the best number from our experience and from what it's not my feeling, we've done a research and we have compared different campaigns with the different numbers of follow-ups. And from our experience, the best number of follow-ups are 2 or 3. So you have 3 or 4 emails in the sequence. So that's the best number. When it comes to when to send it, so it also depends on the content, but let's say if you send your first email, your second email, of course, if it's interesting, if you, for example, forgot to attach maybe attach an offer, I don't know. Anyway, you can follow up really quickly, even in 1 hour. The typical number of the days for the first follow up is from 2 to 3. Then you have your second follow-up. You should extend this time period from 3 to 4 to 5 days. Yeah. And then when it comes to the second follow-up or third follow-up, you just extend this time periods. That's the way you will be able to avoid this, this irritation. Maybe somebody, like when you receive emails each day or each every second or third day, you become irritated a little bit. Yeah. So it's the logic is just extend for the following follow-up, extend this time period. Yeah. and really focus on the content and really try not to, to ask the same question. Can we get on a call? What do you think? John, what do you think? So this approach doesn't really work. Try to think about interesting content. For example, adding a use case that you had with another company and so on. Yeah.
Now, I know we've touched on personalization a few times in our conversation today. What are some of the things you can do in addition to personalization to increase the odds that your email will get delivered and it won't end up in a spam folder?
Mm-hmm. Fantastic question, because that's very important. We have, to tell the truth, we have like different section or different reasons why your emails are landing in the main inbox. The first reason is that you have all the technical settings set up really well. When I talk about technical settings, I talk about setting up your SPF and DKIM records. That's a must. Secondly, warming up. If you, for example, if you start sending emails with a new domain, you should warm it up. We have a separate video about that. Also, you can navigate to our blog about Woodpecker.co and read about that. So warm up your domain and warm up your email address. These are like the most important things. And then if you want to keep your email deliverability, again, you shouldn't use HTML. You should use personalization. Your content should be relevant. And you should care about your limits. For example, you will not be able to send, because when sending cold emails, you using your domain, your mailbox, and so on. Each email provider has a limit of a daily limit of emails that you can send. And for example, G Suite or G Suite has the limit of 2,000 emails per day. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So you should follow this limit. But again, some limit. There are other things that can also impact your or affect your deliverability. But these are the most important. And if you follow this, everything will be fine. And also, don't worry, it's not as complicated. Maybe it sounds quite complicated, but if you do it step by step consistently, trying to send 100, 200 emails per day, you will be fine. You will get great deliverability results and so on. Do not try to send 1,000 emails during the day from one email account. It's not possible. It's not possible. Yeah.
What is the best way to include an unsubscribe option in a cold email? Does it have to be a link, or can you just provide text, or what are the options?
Okay, so first of all, there are different laws in different countries. In some countries, it's a must. If you send a cold email, if you send a business email to somebody, it's a must to have an unsubscribe link. As far as I know, in Canada, it's a must. But for example, in United States, it works a little bit different. Yeah, in Europe, we have GDPR. It also works a little bit differently. Yeah. So first of all, check your laws, like legal side of it. Do you need to add it or not? Because generally, unsubscribe links are not good for cold emails. Why? Because people see that it's automated. Probably, yeah, because there is an option to unsubscribe. Because when you send a manual email, you do not add unsubscribe. Yes. So before adding unsubscribe, check if it's necessary to add it. Yeah, because in an ideal world, you do not add unsubscribe. But once, if you have an information that you need to add unsubscribe, it's better to not to add just unsubscribe or opt out. Yeah, it's better to add a piece of text. For example, if you don't want to receive these messages or something like like maybe something funny, maybe something, more intelligent. So I would go this way.
I have one more question about cold emailing, and then we can move into talking about Woodpecker more specifically. All
Sure.
right. So, what is the single most important thing to know about cold emailing? You're only allowed one.
The best thing about cold emailing,
Mhm.
right?
The single most important thing to know about cold emailing, in your opinion.
Uh, it's cheap and it works. It's cheap and it works. Yeah.
All right.
And it's really easy to figure it out, because again, it's cheap.
Right.
Yeah. Comparing to inbound strategies, we've been talking content, it takes years and it takes big money. So you need to have specialists, content writers, VP marketing, and so on, so on. It's cheap. You can figure it out. It's really easy to learn, and it can be a great part of your sales acceleration strategy. That's 100%. Yeah, but again, it also requires investment, just a little bit.
If we could zero in a little bit more specifically, I guess, on Woodpecker software, my first question for you is this: why was Woodpecker created?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a question to our founders. Okay, to tell yes, I know the story, and I also joined the company at the very beginning. And the reason we created Woodpecker, because we had a need. We needed software like this. Yeah, because we had a different project not related to sales automation, CRMs, and so on. Yeah, and we had a need to send cold emails. And we created a tool for ourselves. It wasn't a tool really, it was just piece of code just to automate sending, and it worked for us really well. We decided why not to try. So that project failed actually, and the company started another project, which is Woodpecker, and it worked for us. And as we see, it works for 1,000 companies around the world. That's cool. That's great.
My next question for you is this: is it easy to set Woodpecker up, and is it easy to put a campaign together, or is this a very complicated piece of software? Does it take long to learn how to use it effectively? Well, to use
Mm-hmm.
it and to use it effectively.
Okay. The software itself, it's not complicated. It's not Salesforce or any other like complicated CRM, and you should figure out how it works. It's really very user friendly. It's really easy. I would say it's one of the easiest and user friendly softwares on the market. That's 100%. When it comes to, it's more complicated, to get the value, because it's really depends on, not on the software but on you. Yeah, Woodpecker has good deliverability rates, and it doesn't spoil your mailbox or domain deliverability until you do this.
Okay.
Yeah, so you should really be careful how you create your campaigns, how your limits. Do you really send spam, tough advertising, and trying to sell stuff the people do not need? Yeah, or you trying to build business relationships and so on. If you try, again, if your activity is good, you won't get any problems, and it's really easy to start using Woodpecker and sending emails. But also, if you need help with that, we have a team of supporters that will help you. So that's definitely not a problem.
Right. Now, you had touched on testing, coming up with, what the most effective emails are going to be. And my question for you is it easy to set up an A/B test in Woodpecker?
Mm-hmm. Actually, we have a dedicated feature for this. To create campaign in Woodpecker, you just click on Add Campaign, and then you have everything you need to do. And you do everything step by step. You add email, you configure your sending times. Also, maybe you want to have some conditional emails and so on. The same with A/B test. It's just a part of steps you can take. And you can actually add 5 A/B tests. So if you want to 5 versions of ABCD tests, yeah, because let's say you want to test a subject line, yeah, you will be able to add different versions, and you will be able then to figure out which one works the best. So it's quite easy. We have specific feature, and then what I really like, when you get into stats, you will be able to see where you have the best open rates, response rates, and so on. And then you will be able easily turn off versions that doesn't perform well. Yeah, that's how it works.
What would you say are the key benefits in using Woodpecker versus some of your competitors or other offerings in the marketplace? I know what sold me, because I'm a user, was the fact that the emails are sent out in a way that it's like they're being sent out manually. Excuse me. That to me is a fantastic feature. But what are some of the benefits Woodpecker offers versus your competitors, would you say?
Yeah. So there are definitely a bunch of great companies on this market, and each company is quite unique. And some people feel that they want to use this specific software because they like it. They like the software and so on. Yeah, let your heart lead you. But but when it comes to Woodpecker, I would say deliverability is definitely the main focus. And I think that Woodpecker has one of the, I don't think, because we have made some researches on that, and definitely Woodpecker has one of the best deliverability rates on this market. When it comes to features, it's quite easy. All the necessary features we have it. Yeah, maybe we didn't have like a lot of fancy features, and you are lost. Yeah, because you don't know how it works. It's quite simple, but everything you need, you have it. Yeah, you're not getting lost, but you got great deliverability rates.
My last question for you is this: what offer would you be willing to extend to the Manufacturing Wins membership?
Okay, for sure, guys. If you're interested in trying Woodpecker out, completely for free without any commitment, you can do that. We will attach a link, right? A promo link that you can use, and you will get 30 days of a trial and 500 emails so you will be able to send a couple of campaigns, because the standard trial is 14 days and 150
so
emails.
You're doubling the offer, in effect.
Even more. When it comes to emails, we are basically tripling it.
Okay, so math isn't my best subject some days. All right. Well, Vovik, I would really like to thank you for taking the time in this interview. I wish you continued success and all the best to you in the future.
Thank you so much, Andrew. Best to you and to your audience.